Hi, I'm Tracie L. James, founder of James Ratliff Co. and the author of Excuse Proof Leadership. I was inspired to write Excuse Proof Leadership because of my own personal experience working in corporate America. I found myself frustrated and overwhelmed, not only trying to just do my job, but also lead my team. And I found that not only were the people I worked with dealing with excuses, but honestly, so was I. I was drowning in a sea of excuses. And I wanted to find a way to overcome that situation so that I could focus on the solutions, not the excuses. The core message I want my readers to walk away with is one of very clear, concise strategies that they can implement immediately so that they can increase employee morale, improve productivity, and ultimately get the results they've been trying to get from their team. I wrote this book for the leaders who truly desire to not only hit numbers, but also make a positive impact in their team's lives. As a leader, I personally wanted someone to work for me, and if they left, I wanted them to have had a good experience. And so if you're a leader that truly wants to not only just hit the numbers, but also make a real connection with your team, this is the book for you. After you read this book, I want you to walk away with very clear, concise strategies that you can implement immediately. Having a very clear understanding about building trust, creating an atmosphere of accountability, and creating a space where your employees not only want to do their job just for their paycheck, but they also want to do it because they take pride in their work. Leading today is much more complicated than it was previously. When you have the shifts as a result of the pandemic, and then let's just be real, the aging out of boomers out of the workforce and more Gen Zers entering the workforce, the mindsets are different. So you have to make shifts in how you lead. And one key thing is that you have to create a space of trust. Doesn't matter whether it's in person, remote, or hybrid. There has to be a space of trust. You were hired to do a job. I'm trusting you to do that job, but I'm going to give you the tools that you need to do it. I'm going to make sure that there are very clear goals that are outlined. I'm going to make sure that I am available to you to answer any questions, that you feel comfortable coming to me if you're struggling with something and you don't feel like you need to hide that. Creating a relationship and an open dialogue of communication. And ultimately creating a space where everyone knows that not only will you hold them accountable, but you hold yourself accountable. If you're a leader who is stuck in a space of making excuses, you have to first make the decision that it's time to make that shift. And the main thing I want you to remember about overcoming those excuses is that, guess what? Those excuses will continue to come up, but you have to have a strategy in place to push them away. And your goal is to always focus on the solutions, not the excuses. If you have to make an excuse for why you didn't hit a number, if you have to make an excuse for why you didn't close a sale, if you have to make an excuse for why you didn't get a report in on time, guess what? You're wasting your time. You don't make yourself look good. You actually make yourself look bad. So it's better to hold yourself accountable, admit where you made the mistake, and look for the solutions that you need to get past it the next time. Because guess what? No successful person has never failed. They've learned from their failures so that they could fail into success. One of the things that drove me crazy the most in the workplace is the blame game. Okay? It's never my fault. It's always someone else's fault. Tom didn't get me the information on time. Emily didn't return my phone call. Marcus didn't have all the marketing materials ready on time. It's never your fault. When it's never your fault, guess what? You never accomplished anything. You can't. You must take accountability for what you do, what you don't do, as well as the things that you don't do well. You have to be able to be honest with yourself and acknowledge where you messed up. It's not always somebody else's fault. Were there contributing factors? Possibly. How soon did you get the information to Emily? How soon did you ask Marcus for his information? You have to look at what you're doing first and then deal with the external situations to overcome the excuses. If you're a business owner and you have a team, now I know that it can be tough to make that shift from being a solopreneur to building a team, but it's necessary in order to grow your business. So as you're hiring people, you're going to start to hear the excuses. And one key thing you must do is the first time you hear an excuse, you need to address it, not ignore it. Okay? So if someone comes to you and they give you an excuse for why something's not going to be in on time, drill down. Ask questions about why it's not going to be. Was it that you didn't understand the project? Did you not have all the resources you needed to be able to accomplish the goal? Was the goal itself unrealistic? Ask questions. The best way to diffuse an excuse is to ask questions. Writing this book was not easy. It's probably one of my biggest challenges I've faced in my life. Because guess what? It was me and the computer screen. That was it. And there were times where I would sit down and I would just be staring at a blank computer screen. But one thing I had to do was commit to writing at least 15 minutes a day. And I got this advice from a friend of mine who's a fiction writer. And she said, just commit to 15 minutes. Don't worry about what you're writing, but just sit down and write. Just type for 15 minutes or take a pen to paper and write for 15 minutes. And once I got that process going, the ideas began to flow. I began to get a clearer picture about what I wanted to share with the world. So don't give up. If it's hard, guess what? The reward on the other side is going to be that much sweeter. If you're an aspiring writer and you've just been contemplating putting pen to paper, do it. There is someone out there that needs to hear your story. There is someone out there that's connected to the words that you're going to share, and they need it. The reality is this: most of us don't really understand our purpose. But our purpose is often connected to something that's on the other side of something difficult. And I feel that in this world, when we function in our purpose, people are blessed. When we function in our purpose, people are moved, inspired. When we function in our purpose, we change the world in a positive way. Because everything we need within ourselves, God's already given it to us. Everything that this world needs, God's already placed it here. But somebody's out of line. They're the solution to someone else's problem. And guess what? Your book is the solution to someone else's problem. So write it. So often I run into single moms or even married moms who want to do something amazing with their lives, but it's about our kids. We postpone it. We put it off. But, I'll wait till the kids are in middle school, or I'll wait till the kids are in high school. Guess what? Stop pressing pause. Show your children that they can accomplish anything they set their mind to. Set the example. Don't just tell them that. Set the example. Hey, I've been a single mom of 2 boys, and I wanted to show them that no matter what their goal was, that they could accomplish it and not to allow anything to interfere. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not easy, but when they see you going after your dreams, it inspires them to go after theirs. So don't use them as an excuse. Use them as your inspiration. One thing I want you to know is that who you are is powerful. And anyone who speaks against you and says that you can't do it, they're intimidated by your power. Don't dim your light. Let your light shine. I spent a lot of years just hiding from what I knew I was supposed to be doing. I ran from it and I wasted time. But you know what? My God is an awesome God and He redeems time. So when I finally got myself in line and began to walk in my purpose, things began to happen. So I encourage you, step out there. Do that thing that God placed on your heart. He's giving you everything you need. You may only see one step, but trust me, He's got the other ones covered. Just trust Him. He'll get you there. Again, I'm Tracie L. James, author of Excuse Proof Leadership. Check out my website, tracieljames.com. And I'm that special Tracie, Tracie. And you can get more details about my books and my workshops.